tell them that Adam couldn't make it this year, so we're taking over for these spots and tell them what we're doing.
Are we talking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was awkward silence.
I know, like, is this still
is proud
on?
to recommend
Yeah, we are. We're just
iBarbecue
putting on
for
the
you.
intro.
Pre-orders are suggested by calling 716-880-7667. iBarbecue for you, Buffalo's new barbecue destination.
Just move the coyotes. Don't do another expansion.
Right? It would never crossed my mind. So somebody called the house when I was out mowing the grass.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, your face is like purple! Are you still up? Now in your fifth season, it's Buffalo After Dark.
Welcome to Buff After Dark, everybody. It is Thursday night, April 10th, and you got most of the crew here with us tonight. So, of course, Hanson, Rob's here, Andy's here. Adam, unfortunately, cannot be here because he had a prior commitment, but it is our annual mock draft. So, guys, how's it going?
I am fantastic as usual. I am very excited to be here this year, and it's just hopefully it's going to be better than last year because I actually was just listening to last year's draft, and I'm just like, oh man, that was a giant clusterfuck in the middle of that late draft pick.
Yeah, were you on drugs when you made that one pick last year?
No, I was under the firm belief that Baltimore was going to take Frank Gore Jr., but obviously I was wrong about that. But yeah, no, but he ultimately.
Totally forgot about that.
Oh man, but
I totally forgot about
that was crazy.
right,
It was.
Yeah, and then Rob, Andy, nice to see you guys back again. How have you been? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it has been a while. I've been doing great.
Good. All right.
Fresh off a trip to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
How was it?
how was it?
Oh, it was great. PNC Park was beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, although you probably heard about nutting with the blocks, and then the whole controversy about taking down the tribute for Clemente.
For a serve side ad, and then they took that off the other day.
Right.
Yeah.
But, no, I gotcha. Then Eddie, good to see you back as well, man.
Good to see you guys as well. I don't know if my camera's working or not, but
I see your laptop.
Yeah, we see your laptop and all.
What the fuck? Yeah,
Not
new
even
phone.
5 minutes. We already have a plot.
There we go. All right.
Is that? Can you see me now?
No, we just see your name.
What the frick, man?
Yeah, it's weird. There we
it is,
go.
There it is.
go.
That's it.
Oh,
There you are.
All right.
I'm in. I'm good.
Yes,
All right.
you're
Cool.
good.
Now.
All right. So, of course, what we're doing as usual, it is our mock draft. So, of course, with Adam being gone tonight with some prior commitments, we're each going to be taking two of his teams. So, basically, as we usually do, we'll go through and may the best team win in this case. So, I was going to say, Bobby, who's going to be up first in the draft today?
All right. So last year it was Adam Fitzgerald with the Chicago Bears. This year's honor is going to Mr. Rob Hazu for the Tennessee Titans. And with that being said, the 2025 annual mock draft is underway. Mr. Hazu, kick it off.
And for the first pick, the Tennessee Titans will be taking Cam Ward, quarterback from Miami.
All
There
right.
you go. That was a
Nice.
very quick, easy fix right there.
Yes.
So congratulations to Mr. Ward.
There
Ah.
we go.
Right? It's crazy to me that I don't know if Cam Ward is going to be like the hype quarterback because to be honest with you, there's really not a whole lot of hype surrounding him. You know what I'm saying?
This
Mhm.
whole quarterback draft class isn't as great as previous years.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like what 4 good quarterbacks at least in the first 2 rounds that are pretty well known, like Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe, and then of course we don't really know furthermore other than that. I mean,
Sanders.
Mhm.
yeah, Sanders is another one. Again, it's not a very big quarterback class, but I don't know. It's very interesting how this all played out for the Titans. But good on them though, because they needed a quarterback. Because let's be honest, Will Levis sucks.
Yep.
You know what's the problem when Mason Rudolph had to take over? As much as
Yeah.
I love the guy, but
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is rough. That is definitely rough. But I was gonna say, who has pick number 2?
That goes to me. I am going to be, for the first time ever, representing the Cleveland Browns in the Buffalo After Dark annual mock draft. So this is the first time the Browns have ever been in the draft ever, and it is my complete honor to actually do the drafting for them. So I actually had a really tough time with this pick because I didn't really know what I was going to do. Because I was really thinking hard, because let's be honest, the fucking Browns are a mess. I
Big
mean,
time.
there's really
Right.
no direction. They could go any position: defensive back, defensive end, quarterback, wide receiver. I could have gone any direction. So in my case, I kind of just took a blindfold, put it on my eyes, and threw it at the board. That's literally how I felt about this. So I'm about to tell you what I'm going to do now. So with that being said, with the second pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the Cleveland Browns will select Travis Hunter, the cornerback out of Colorado.
Ooh. Okay.
There you go. And that now leaves with Mr. Jesus back again at number 3 with the New York Giants. Go ahead, Rob.
yeah, like you with the Browns, it was tricky for me with the Giants because I could see them either going defense, they can go. I know they need help on the offensive line, but ultimately, with the third pick in the draft, I have the Giants taking Abdul Carter.
Oh yeah,
From
definite.
Penn State.
Okay.
That is a definite steal. Probably the best pass rusher in the draft. I would have to think so. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah,
solid
for sure.
pick.
Absolutely. So, coming in at number 4, reclaiming my throne, is the New England Patriots. As you all know, last year I had them take J.J. McCarthy, and that did not go as according to plan. They took Drake May. So, quarterback is out of the question at this point for the Pats. I don't even know what they're going to do at this point because they need a lot of help. But I thought about a defensive player. I thought about some offensive help. I didn't really know what to think. So what I'm going to do this year for the Pats is I'm going to give them some help on the offensive line. So with that being said, with the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the New England Patriots will select Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU.
Nice. Very good pick.
Absolutely. I like that for New England. All right, so coming in at number 5 is Andy Van Meer, first one of the draft this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're up.
All right. I really didn't have to debate about it. I think it's gonna be pretty simple here. Most likely for the Jags. They got a lot of holes to fill, and I'll have them settle for defensive tackle Mason Graham.
Nice pick.
Very nice
Good
pick. And he's been talked a lot as of late going to Jacksonville, so that wouldn't shock me one bit if Mason Graham actually ends up going to Jacksonville. It would be a nice pick for them. All right, so going in at number 6 is the Las Vegas Raiders, and this pick belongs to Tom. You're on the clock for the first time.
Yeah, so Raiders have a lot of stuff that they need to fill. I mean, they definitely need a running back. They definitely need a wide receiver. And then I also look at cornerbacks as well. But one of the things I definitely want to do is to upgrade the running back situation and definitely get them some yardage. So pick I'm going to go with, out of Boise State, Ashton Jeanty.
Ah,
Gentry.
damn. That was going to be my next
Ashton Gentry.
pick.
Mhm.
God damn it. What am I going to do about it? You know what I mean? Fuck.
Yep.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, of course it does happen. Shitbag.
Like I originally had Travis Hunter for the Giants, but I had a
Right.
backup.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so coming in at number 7 is the New York Jets. And this pick originally belonged to Adam, but unfortunately he won't be able to make it this year. So I am taking his place at number 7. Now, as you know, I fucking despise the Jets. And I always try to give them the best scenario to be possibly successful in the NFL, and they always shit the bag every fucking year. Even the last couple of years, I've been polite to them. So this year, I'm really hoping that they do something right. I mean, in real life, I obviously want them to be good, but they shit themselves every year. But I'm gonna do the Jets a massive favor, and believe me, it's gonna help them out long term. So with that being said, with the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the New York Jets will select Shador Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado.
Ooh, okay. Well,
There you go.
they definitely
Should-
needed some help. There's no question about that.
I actually think Shador's going to go
The New
to the Giants. He's really kind of pointed out that's where he kind of wants to go.
I could
Well,
see it happen.
Well, he could also end up on the Jets. I mean, think of it like this. Justin Fields was signed for only 2 years. So that right there is not an ideal situation if you're a guy that's still trying to continue having a career in the NFL for a 2-year deal. He's not even like the best quarterback available in that room. I mean, your options at that point are Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, and then adding Shador Sanders, I think will give them a little more flexibility. And you right there have a veteran quarterback who won a Super Bowl, and you also have a starter who Rob happens to know was on the Steelers last year. And
Sharks.
I don't know why I had Sharks planted in my head. It was the Steelers.
Probably just that crazy game last night.
Probably. Probably. I mean, it benefits for sure. So, now that being said, the number 8 pick goes to the Panthers. And Tom will have the first 2 selections coming up at 8 and 9 for this pick. Actually, I take that back. He's got 3 coming up in this draft, just like last year. So you're starting at number 8, Mr. Wojak, with the Panthers. Go ahead.
All right. So Carolina's a shit show. We'll just say that. It's an ugly roster right now, but Bryce Young needs some help. Their defense isn't as bad as what I look at on the offensive line, and he definitely needs some weapons. So coming in with the 8th pick in the mock draft, I am going to take wide receiver out of Arizona, Tetairoa McMillan.
There you go. I mean, easily the best receiver on the top 10 thus far. Easily.
Yep, and finally gives Young someone that he can actually go to as a potential wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. So that's a huge plus.
That badly.
Yeah, and then you figure with pairing him with Thielen, I mean, not a bad option.
Well, I mean, I would agree with that to that extent, considering, I would too if I traded DJ Moore to the Bears for a bag of beans. I mean, that's kind of the harsh reality to the situation,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Carolina, literally. I mean, if Adam was here, he'd be ripping them to shreds this year. He'd be like, fuck Carolina. That team is a shithole organization.
Of course.
He would. He would just be like that all over them.
Right.
All right. So, coming in at number 9, Tom is back on the board again with the New Orleans Saints for pick number 2.
All right.
ahead,
So New Orleans has a lot of holes they also need to fill, and a couple that come to mind are especially the offensive tackles. They do need a tight end, they do need an edge rusher, and they also need cornerbacks. Those are definitely big areas that they want to fill. What I'm thinking is definitely to take care of the offensive tackle first. And out of Missouri, I'm going to take Armand Membu.
There you go.
Membo?
Mm-hmm.
Armin Membo. Cool. I mean, let's be honest. When was the last time the Saints actually drafted a really good offensive lineman? Ryan Ramczyk?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well,
And especially
It
when
really
you
has.
have when you have the 8th pick and you have easily one of the best offensive tackles in the draft, take them. Because you can get cornerbacks that'll slide down a little bit more to like mid first round, second round. So, and then you can fill out the other positions as you go into rounds 2, 3, and 4. So figured. take the big
So
boy
ba-
up front.
So basically, you're saying it would give the Saints some sort of flexibility.
It would, and plus you're getting a big body tackle, which is huge. I mean, they need that.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's New Orleans. I mean, this whole Derek Carr experiment for them so far has just been a disaster. I mean, they haven't done shit with him in 2 years, as if it wasn't obvious enough. And then now you have to go get him some help with Membo. So
Mm-hmm.
it actually might work out if he's actually lands there. You know, we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yep.
All right, and then coming in at number 10 is the Chicago Bears. You're back on the clock for the third time, Tom.
Yes.
Go
So
right
one
ahead.
of my original teams I actually chose for this draft. So Chicago's actually been doing a pretty good job the last year or two, and especially now with new coaching staff and different needs. There's a couple of spots that I thought that stuck out right out of the gate. Tight end is one of them. Edge rushing is another, and they also need an offensive tackle. But I would say if I had to go between edge rushing and offensive tackle, I think the edge rusher is going to be the more important position for the Bears right now. And we can always get an offensive tackle a little bit later in the draft. So what I'm going to do with the 10th pick of this mock draft, I am going to take the edge rusher out of Georgia, Jalen Walker.
Ooh, that's bold. That is bold, especially this early in the draft. That's
Mhm.
bold.
Yeah.
That props you on that one.
Yeah, it gives them a huge playmaker right out of the gate, and plus, then you figure that takes care of an immediate need that they need, and then I figure, especially later on in the draft, if we were to go like second round, third round, I could just jump back in and get an offensive tackle, or I could look at one of the other positions in need. So, but I definitely did not want to pass up one of the best edge rushers that's on the board.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost essential for them to take that position, and getting Jalen Walker actually would benefit the Bears because at that point he actually gets to play with Tremaine Edmonds in Chicago.
Yeah, be a nice combo.
Absolutely, without a question. All right, so stepping into the plate at number 11 is the San Francisco 49ers with Andy Van Meer, the Bears. You're on the clock, at
Andy.
that point, he
First
actually gets
three
to play with
picks.
Tremaine Edmonds in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, the Niners need a lot of stuff. A lot of holes everywhere. Really can't go wrong with almost any pick because being at 11 and having so much open right now, especially on both the defensive and offensive lines. I don't know. I mean, you got to protect your quarterback. We all know that. And we've also lost Deebo Samuel at the wide receiver position. They've lost corners. They got a lot of holes to fill. But I think to start off where they need to be, it's really tough. They got so many holes, but I'm going to go with from the University of Ohio State, offensive tackle Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, okay.
Ooh,
Big body in front to help with Brock Purdy. And by the way, what the hell's going on with that over there with Brock Purdy's contract?
I don't know about his contract, but I'm more concerned of why he's having so much trouble seeing over his linemen.
Good point.
Maybe because he's so small. He's tiny.
Well, he needs the protection, so he's going to have to deal with it.
Well, that sounds about right. All right, so coming in at number 12 is Andy again with the Dallas Cowboys. You're on the clock.
All right, for the Dallas Cowboys, they need a whole lot of help as well.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
big time.
where do you really begin with everybody?
Right. Plus, we also know Dak is so overrated.
Yep.
Ooh.
Sorry, not sorry, Cowboys fans.
No, that's okay. Let me see here. I know who I want to grab. I just want to make sure I have him here on my list. Go. Where are you? Oh, these guys need so much. Okay. There he is. ever since they lost Ezekiel in his prime, and I can't. Who else did they have at running back after Ezekiel?
Didn't they have Tony Pollard for a while?
Yep.
They had
They
Pollard
did.
and they lost him.
Oh, Dowdle.
The running back system there, it needs revival. I'm having the Cowboys grabbing a. I mean, if Ashton Genty was there, it'd be perfect for them. But
It would be.
the next best running back I have on here is going to be from North Carolina, Omarion Hampton.
Ooh.
Nice choice.
Yep.
Nice
that makes
choice,
the
Dallas.
most sense.
Very nice choice. I mean, they need a running back. I mean, as if it wasn't obvious enough for Dallas. I mean, you have to fill the void for Zeke. Tony Pollard didn't last long. And who the fuck was their running back last year? Rico Dowell?
Yeah, Rico Dowell.
Mhm.
I think it was a running back by committee.
What do you mean running back by committee?
Yeah, they didn't have a solid running back one.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, this may be a good year for them to take a running back. I mean, Gentry, unless the Cowboys traded up, they were not getting Gentry. But yeah, no,
They'll get
It
the
wasn't
next
good.
best guy.
most likely. And by the way, if you're wondering why I giggled earlier, I blew the death whistle on the microphone. I was hoping y'all hear it, but it seems like
no.
Oh, Jesus.
God.
I
damn
forgot
it.
you got that in.
Yeah, in fact, before we move on, it's right here. I don't
Nice.
see it too well.
There you
There it
go.
is.
There you go.
And I tried to blow it, and I was waiting for a reaction from Andy, but he was just like, okay.
No, all of us were oblivious.
Right. And then, of course, for everyone watching too, just of course, as we go through the mock draft, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, if you want to check out any of the picks that we have after the show tonight, go to Spotify because this will be uploaded in all of its glory, where you can listen to the entire draft.
And you can see all of our beautiful faces.
Yes.
All right. Anyways,
Time for
so
vitamins, I guess.
Yes.
most likely. Okay. So at number 13 is the Miami Dolphins, and this is the third pick for Andy in this row, at least. Go ahead, Andy. You're on the clock.
All right. Once again, another team with a lot of holes to fill. The Finns need a tackle, a safety, a corner, and a defensive lineman. Where are you going to start?
Yeah.
It's very, very tough. I hate the freaking Dolphins, like you all know. But,
Yeah. Plus, Tyreek Hill's in a little bit of trouble this week too.
Yeah,
if
I heard about
doesn't,
that.
if he doesn't stay in Florida with Miami, then I could see them going after another wide receiver in the draft. If that happens, I don't know. They need a lot of help. So I think how I'm feeling here with what they need. I really don't know, and I really don't care what their biggest need is because I hate them that much. And I didn't really study
Nice.
for the Finns as this was last second.
Fair
Well,
enough.
it says they need an offensive tackle, a cornerback, an
Yep.
inside lineman, an edge,
Safety.
running
Yeah,
back,
they need a lot of
kicker,
Tight end.
linebacker.
I'm gonna go as much as I don't want this fucking team to get this guy, but to me he's on top of the list, and I hate to do this because hell, I'd even pick him if he was available for the Bills, but I'm gonna go for the Miami Dolphins cornerback, University of Texas, Jahdae Barron.
Ah,
Barrett.
okay.
Hmm.
Nice.
You know, I was almost under the impression you were going to pick Tyler Warren.
At tight end.
Yeah, I was under the impression you were going to take him.
Yeah, they got so many holes. You got to get another corner. Didn't they lose one of their high-end corners?
I believe so.
Did they lose Xavier Howard?
Yeah, Xavier Howard. They lost Javon Holland. They
Yep, another one.
they lost a lot of pieces in the last year and a
Yeah.
half. They lost Christian Wilkins. Miami's falling apart. And to be honest, I don't think they're going to be improving anytime soon. Even though they hardly did anything in free agency, other than what? Zach fucking Wilson?
Yeah, good point.
True.
And I don't even want to give the Dolphins this player because I hate that fucking jackwagon. That big Dolphins fan that we always see.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
his
Tyler
name. Felipe?
Taraboshia.
Oh,
Is that who he? I don't even
Yeah.
know the fuck his name. I hate that. I want to punch that kid in the face so much sometimes.
It's like, oh, here's all the news on the Dolphins that happened on this week. Yeah, shut up.
I thought you meant Felipe at first.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, Josh Allen's gonna do this. Like, shut up, Josh Allen owns your ass.
He also had the audacity
Literally.
to say that Josh Allen winning MVP was a DEI hire.
Yeah, but then he ends up showing two guys making out on the screen right behind him. I don't know if you saw that real close, but he's got
Oof.
like two men making out. I'm like, oh Jesus,
You're saying he's
What the
gay?
hell?
probably. Hey,
Shocking.
whatever,
Perhaps.
however he wants to swing is his business.
Fair enough.
You do you.
Mm-hmm.
You do
Exactly.
you, boo boo.
Exactly. It's none of our business.
Exactly. Okay, so for the first time since pick number 3, Rob Hazer will be back on the clock at 14 with the Indianapolis Colts.
This was a easy one for me. They have desperate need for a tight end, so I have Tyler Warren going to the Colts.
Everyone.
Yeah, no brainer. Yeah, it was interesting. Just kind of thinking about it. Pat McAfee was back in Pittsburgh yesterday. He had a big event, and then everyone's like wondering. It's like, oh, is Aaron Rodgers going to sign with the Steelers? And it's like, no, that did not
Nope.
happen.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I actually get the Pittsburgh channels on my TV now
Oh, that's cool.
Absolutely.
through Roku, so I actually get to follow them a little bit.
Nice.
All right. All right, so next up is me at pick number 15 with the Atlanta Falcons. And this is my first pick since number 7 with the New York Jets. And yeah, I am ready to rock and roll. So Atlanta. What am I going to do with Atlanta? Because I think Adam chose Dallas Turner last year for them, and it turned out to be Michael Penix Jr., the biggest laugh I got in fucking years.
Right.
I remember.
I remember that.
I remember saying, "Wow, remember that comment I made last year in the draft?" And I said, "Imagine the Falcons take a quarterback in the, and they take him,
Yep.
and they take Michael Penix Jr." But I will say though, from Atlanta's defense, Michael Penix Jr. is actually turning into an actual nice, solid quarterback.
Not like Ritter.
Yeah.
So maybe the Falcons weren't as stupid as we thought they were. I mean, look what happened to Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just crazy
Yeah,
to
that's,
think back
that's a
on
good
it.
point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, Atlanta needs a lot of help. They need a pass rusher. They need a linebacker. They need a safety. They need a tight end. They need a running back. I mean, even though you have Bijan Robinson, no, they have a lot of shit that they got to get straightened out. So I'm gonna do Atlanta a favor. With that being said, here we go. So with that being said, with the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons will select Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas.
Whoa!
All right.
Oh,
Wow.
another wide receiver?
Well,
That was
yeah,
unexpected.
that was a big need because let's think about this for a minute. How many wide receivers can you think of that are on the Falcons aside Drake May?
I don't even remember who else they have besides London.
Exactly.
I mean, they got London, they got Pitts. Wasn't there another one that they had that was decent? Yeah,
I have-
on the opposite end.
I have no idea, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be shocked if this was the actual pick for the Falcons. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this very well could happen in the draft. You know what I mean? For the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so coming in at number 16 is the Arizona Cardinals, and Rob, you're back on the clock.
Oh, I had the Cardinals.
Yeah, you have the Cardinals. At
Oh,
number 16.
oh, I totally missed that. Whoops.
Yep, that's okay.
Well,
Oops.
Nobody misses the Cardinals.
Right?
I know they need a lot of help on defense. It's just a matter of where on defense they go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they did get Calais Campbell back.
I don't think their secondary is very good. Besides Bubba, what's his name?
Yeah, I mean, they really don't have any weapons there.
They don't have any weapons. They can use help on. They can use. Yeah, they can use help on the offensive line.
Yeah, I have them looking for an edge, corner, tackle, linebacker.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Yeah. Let's see.
Just
They
like the
need,
Bills.
they need a
They need
safety,
defensive help.
Yeah, they need it. They need
running
so
back.
much.
They need a punter.
Yeah.
Although, hey, Matt Gay's available on free agency now because he just got cut.
Yeah, that's right. Where do I go with the Cardinals?
Well, yeah, they need an edge, they need a corner, a linebacker, inside lineman, a quarterback. Yeah, that's an indicator. That's like the fifth biggest need they need because they know Kyler Murray sucks. Tight end, kicker, defensive line, offensive tackle, wide receiver, pretty much every position in the book.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Take your time. We got all night.
hmm
We already someone already picked Jalen Walker, right?
Yeah, Jalen
Yeah.
Walker got taken at 10 to the Bears.
Okay. Let's see here. Trying to do this on the fly.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, Walker got taken at 10 to Chicago, and Golden got taken at 16 to the Falcons. I mean, at 15 to the Falcons, sorry.
hmm
I mean, you
Yeah.
got Mike Green from Marshall, rated at 12.
Yeah. Still got
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah,
Williams.
Yeah, you have Stewart, you have you have Green.
Yeah. You have Kelvin
You have
Banks
Will
if you want to
Johnson
take an
there.
offensive tackle.
You got
Yep, you have
Walter
him too.
Nolan, James Pierce,
Yeah.
Jahad Campbell, a linebacker, Nick
Yeah.
Emanuori, a safety.
Yeah, you got Malachi
Johnson, a
Starks.
corner.
You just
Yeah.
have Michael Williams, you have Jahad Campbell, you have Colston Loveland, who's a tight end, you have Malachi
Yeah.
Starks.
We'll
There's
go
a
with
lot
the
of players.
for the Cardinals. We'll go with Mike Green.
Mike Green,
Okay.
okay. Edge out of Marshall. All right.
Nice pick.
Very nice pick. All right. So coming in at number 17, I am once again with my next pick at 17 is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're in deep shit.
Yeah, tell us something we don't already know.
Yeah, right.
Although, remember when we were there like a year and a half, almost a year and a half ago, and remember that one fan told Rob to fuck off because he was wearing the Steelers jersey to the game.
I wore my Heath
fucking
Miller
idiot wearing a
jersey.
Steelers jersey in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I
he's
love it.
basically like that one guy was like when we were eating in the brewery.
Right.
It's like good luck, fuck you.
It was great. You
And
know,
I
they were
said,
more
Rob,
tame
you
about
sure
it
you
than
don't-
I thought they'd be.
Yeah.
More
Marlene,
better than Jets fans. It was
Yeah.
shocking.
yeah, the Marline Lager House. That was a good place.
That was a very good place. But you know what, though?
And then we all had the
Cincinnati-
walk of shame across the Ohio River after.
Ah, yes, the walk of shame.
The 20-minute
They're like,
walk
well, this is
back.
awkward.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
So, anyway, so with the Bengals, this really shouldn't be too hard for me to accept because, let's face it, Trey Hendrickson doesn't want to be there. They're fucked either way with signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins long term, and Joe Burrow did not restructure his contract. So, they're likely up against the cap, and God knows what's going to happen to them after 2026 because the lease is up at Paycor Stadium. How? I have no idea. But, but the
least we went
Bengals
there.
do. What's up?
At least we went there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
man.
true story.
It was a dump, but it is what it is. But no, so the Bengals do need a lot of help in this position. So I'm going to give them some secondary help because it benefits them and their secondary sucks. So I might as well put a Band-Aid over it. So with that being said, with the 17th pick, and I'm shocked at this point, with the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan.
Ooh.
There you
Okay.
go.
Honestly, I am genuinely surprised that he dropped this far down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think
You
on
didn't have-
draft day that's going to actually happen, but
And Mike, I don't think he had a lot of film last year. He only played, what, 6 games?
Yeah,
yeah,
he
that's
barely
right.
barely
he
did
had an
any.
injury riddled season.
Yeah.
He might slip a little.
Well,
Right.
it's very possible at this point, just based on what's happening in in Cincinnati because that place is a dump, and it's kind of acknowledged at this point since they signed Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're screwed. T. Higgins doesn't want to be there. I mean, not T. Higgins. Trey Hendrickson doesn't want to be there. The Bengals are in deep shit, and I think Jermaine Pratt too doesn't want to be there either. I mean, I honestly don't blame him. It's the Bengals, but all right. So Tom,
gonna
you're
do?
back on the clock at 18 with the Seattle Seahawks. You're on the clock.
So the Seattle Seahawks made a lot of changes. Obviously, Gino's not there anymore, and they need some help. That's just the best way to put it. And the more I think about it, there's literally like three spots that I really want to go for. Either it's an offensive tackle, they do need an edge rusher beyond anything, or I would even look potentially at a wide receiver and give them another weapon. But what I want to do is, I think, looking at this draft, I mean, there's a good amount of edge rushers, there's a good amount of offensive tackles, but there's edge rushers that I think will drop down into the second round. So what I'm thinking, and I'm actually kind of surprised that this player actually dropped a little bit further into the draft, but it's not bad. I'm going to take out of Texas, Kelvin Banks.
Elvin
Okay.
Banks. Nice little protection for Sam Darnold in his new lamb in the Emerald City.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Tom, that's another city we went to for Road 32.
Yeah,
That's the Seahawks.
yeah. This past October, which was a good thing, and good thing we got out of there when we did, because literally, I think I told you guys like a week later, like 6 people got stabbed right outside of where we were staying.
Well, that's reassuring.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun. And for me,
We
I have
did.
to go back. Yeah, I'm going back to Seattle in a few weeks. I think I'm going back on the 9th of May,
Mhm.
and I'm going to a Mariners game on the 10th, and I'm going on a cruise. But
Nice.
yeah, no, I'm excited for that trip in general. So
Yeah, it was a fun city. I will say that. Definitely enjoyed it there.
absolutely. Okay, so at number 19 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Andy owns this pick. Go ahead, Andy.
All right. Bucks have a lot of needs, primarily like the Bills on defense. I don't know what their biggest need is. It's all kind of like one and the same.
Well, they need an
Um,
edge, a cornerback, a wide
Yep, an edge, a
receiver,
corner.
running back, tight end, offensive tackle,
Yeah.
kicker.
Special teams.
Yeah, they got a lot going on for them. But trying to remember, because I remember I watched quite a few games because I had Baker Mayfield, so I kind of watched how he performed in that team. This could be a steal. This might not be a steal. The guy's kind of out of reach with some teams. I'm kind of flip-flopping about who might be the best pick for them between two defensive players. But if my memory serves me right, defensive end is a more problem than I would think linebacker is for them right now. So I'm going to go for the Bucks from the University of Tennessee, defensive end, James Pierce Jr.
James Pierce Jr.
Okay.
Nice pick. I like that pick. I
Yeah.
mean, Tampa could really use some help in their pass rushing unit because I feel like the only guy that can really get to the quarterback as of right now is Vita Vea, and Devin White and Vontae David are not there anymore. So the Bucks could really use, some young legs, some young guns in the pass rushing unit, which makes sense for Tampa. I mean,
Yeah,
they could really
absolutely.
use it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Without a
for
doubt.
me it was between him and Jahad Campbell out of Alabama as a linebacker. I mean, both are pretty much in the same range.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either.
Where to be picked in this area. I mean, you really can't go wrong. I guess, so to speak. I've heard some things about James Pierce Jr. about taking some plays off at times, but I think edge is the bigger need than linebacker, at least in the first round. So I'm going with James Pierce Jr.
Yeah, and definitely a good pick. And I mean, and that's going to be one of the things. I mean, you're protecting Mayfield's blind side. So you get better coverage there, you get a bigger body there. I mean, that's going to be part of it. And then, as you said, you can always drop back down into to other parts of the draft for linebackers or any of the other areas you need. So, but Tampa quietly is building a pretty decent team though, and Mayfield's been a huge part of it. So, good to see him finally have a stable home for a change.
Yeah,
their offense is solid, but that defense, like the Bills, need help.
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, you have Chris Godwin, you have Mike Evans. I mean, the Bucks. I feel like the
Mullen.
Bucks in general, they are competitive enough to make the playoffs, but they're not good enough to win the Super Bowl again.
No, not right now.
Right. I mean, they're basically a first or second round team.
I can't remember off the top of my head who the Bucks tight end is, but I was almost thinking I might have gone tight end here. Almost.
Why am I
Almost.
forgetting his name?
I can't remember if he's decent. I cannot remember him for the life of me.
Kevin's gonna kill me for
I think
forgetting his
I
name.
think they got a new young kid, don't they?
Yeah. Why am I forgetting his name?
I can't remember his damn name. I think I even had him in our.
Yeah, wasn't it like Cade Otton?
Yes.
Yeah, they
there
have
it is,
Cade Otton.
Cade Otton, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
Okay.
there was someone else.
Yeah, I mean they have like pulling up the depth chart. I mean they basically have Cade Otton, Payne Durham, Devin Culp, and Cole Cleft.
Yeah,
Okay,
and don't they have
so
a
it
running
was
back
Cade-
named Rashid White?
Yeah, they got a good couple of running backs.
The Rashad White?
Or
I
Rashad
always
White.
forget.
Yeah, he's running back too.
Oh no, I'm thinking Jalen McMillan. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. They
yeah,
have
wide
Jalen
receiver
McMillan
one.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
he's wide
So
receiver,
they got
but yeah,
Godwin, McMillan.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah.
So I mean, their offense is pretty well done. Like I just couldn't remember who that they had Cade Otton. So yeah, forget tight end. Forget I even said that.
Ah,
Yeah, they have
you're all
Bucky
good.
Irving and Rashad White.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
Mhm.
most of us forgot at this point, you know?
Right.
I haven't
It's
said
all good.
McMillan either, and I forgot. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry, Kevin.
You know, it's funny. I forgot Kevin was a Buccaneers fan.
Yep.
Mhm.
Isn't he from Tampa?
Yeah. His family lived in Tampa for a time, and then he did go to school there after community college.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
All right, so moving on is at number 20 is me with the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm looking at all positions here. I really am. I don't watch enough Broncos games, and
Okay. All right. Now it's saying my internet connection was restored, so that's good.
so it was your Wi-Fi.
No, it was the actual computer that did it. My Wi-Fi was fine. It was the Wi-Fi adapter for my computer.
I say. Well, in either way, come on back, and then you can get the second half, and you owe everybody an apology. Yep, Tom is waiting to enter the room. Okay, I'll see you in a second.
All right.
Thing. Okay, let me make Tom the host. There we go.
All right.
Yes,
All
eyes
right,
are in that
Thomas-
too.
All right, guys. Sorry about that because apparently, for some reason, Spectrum decided to take a shit.
Fun.
Yeah.
Delay
so you just
again.
have, so you'll just have to restart the live stream and then go from there. Say, hey, sorry, my computer started to fuck me over.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is actually, I think we are still in a good spot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to
Wait, were we live that whole time?
yeah, we were.
Right?
Oh boy.
Nice
Oh, yeah.
job,
Great.
Dick.
Yeah.
Gonna have to edit that out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all right. Hey, good old
Enjoy your
Femora. I
hockey
can edit
talk.
out like the 10-minute delay there. 10-minute delay a game. Like 5 yards.
Yeah, it was just us talking about the Frozen 4.
There we go. But yes, Denver's on the clock again.
All right, so I originally picked Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman out of Michigan, and Andy said, you bastard, and then that was when everything fell to shit.
Mhm.
So Kenneth Grant to the Broncos. He's a defensive line out of Michigan. There you
Okay.
go.
Possible Bills pick, but we'll see.
Yep. Okay, so continuing with the draft, at number 21 is Mr. Rob Jesus, the only Steelers fan in the room. You, sir, are on the clock with your team.
Yeah, first off, I can't believe I actually got their pick right last year.
I know, right? Think
That
you can
was,
go for two?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
did
we'll
you
see
get?
if I go for 2. But
Who was it?
why am I blanking on his wow, I forget his name. That is so bad.
Was it Joey Porter Jr.?
No, it was Joey Porter Jr. It was the
It was Totamu or something, the lineman.
Troy Fatano, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Troy Fontenot.
Sadly,
Okay.
his season got cut short because of injury, but
Right.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
yeah. Alrighty. Nobody ever knows what the Steelers are going to do. That's kind of the same thing this year. I know they need a running back, but it is a deep draft class for running backs, so they can wait, even though they don't have the second round pick anymore. I still need help on defense, but more importantly, they do need a quarterback. We know there's still that uncertainty with Rodgers. I know a lot of fans don't want him.
Well,
Some
do you
teammates
want the
don't
damn
want
guy?
him either.
well, do
is
you
this
want the
Jackson
damn
Dart?
guy?
And what was it?
Do you
Is
want
that
the damn
Jackson
guy?
Dart coming to league?
No, I do
Sorry,
not
go ahead,
want Aaron Rodgers.
Is this
I
where
like
Jackson
Rudolph,
Dart
but he
comes to play?
can't be your only guy.
Mm.
Jackson
I know
Dart. Jackson
I know
Dart.
the QB draft class is probably going to be better next year, but
Yeah.
you can't wait. You have to get the guy now, and yes, this is where Jackson Dart goes.
Jackson Dart. Throw me some
Jackson
darts.
Dart.
There
He
we
is
go.
my favorite of the quarterbacks left. I don't want Sanders. I like Dart a lot.
What
I
would
feel
you
he'll
do?
fit the system well.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about Tiny Hands Pickett.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, why would they draft a quarterback in the first round again? And it's, well,
Well,
again,
I
you
was
don't
gonna
have that second round pick, and he's going to be gone.
You gotta
Well-
keep shooting until you get one.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, what would you do, Rob? Just for hypothetically, what would you do if the Steelers do somehow, get Shador Sanders?
I would just shake my head in disappointment.
Would it be like one of those things, put a paper bag over your head like they're doing with the Pirates, and then they're being told, oh, you can't protest against the team. You have to take the bag off your head or you have to get out of the stadium.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that, but Kevin actually took a picture with the guy who had a sell the team shirt on. He had a paper bag over his head that said sell the team. It was great.
Oh, man. They actually had an interview with the guy on one of the Pittsburgh local stations. It was actually KDKA, which is their CBS station. And
Mhm.
basically, the guy was talking about, oh, it's an unwritten rule, but yeah, get the hell out anyways. You're not allowed to protest against Bob Nutting.
Yeah, apparently not.
I swear, being a Pirates fan, from your perspective, sounds like communism.
It really does.
Communism. There's communism.
Yeah. Should we play the 1984 Soviet communist anthem again?
Yes.
Like we did that one time
They
when
had
we
a-
were making a
Oh my
point?
God.
They have an anthem?
Yeah,
Yes,
YouTube. There's
they
a
do.
Soviet national communist anthem.
I don't think I heard it.
Wait. Stop. You've never heard of the USSR theme song?
Oh, this is
I
gonna
don't
be
think
great.
I have.
All right.
Might
We'll have
have.
to do that later on after the draft. I'll have to
Oh my
play it.
god, dude. I'm surprised. Shocked.
I hope they
Mike-
I might. I think I might. I'm not sure. I'd have to hear it.
Oh yeah, well, let me put it to you this way. We actually used that theme song to represent Terry Pagula because this is football related.
Oh,
We
You know
used it on
what?
Pagula. We're gonna use it on Bob Nutting. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
be
Hell,
nice
you can
to
use it on
Terry.
Rudy too. That's completely fine.
Oh, yeah.
Be nice to Terry, okay? If it wasn't for him, there would be no Sabres here.
Fuck Terry Pagula, okay? Fuck that degenerate ass hat.
Looney
You
Rooney.
need to go listen to that After the Whistle podcast with Larry Quinn.
Oh, I know, because he said, well, my hands were tied. I know. I saw that interview.
Watch the Steelers take Milrow now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, and I did send the official anthem
I
of the
hear you.
Supreme Soviet Union in the chat.
He's climbing the charts, that Millen Roll.
He is.
I've heard he's
Yeah.
a sleeper.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but
That would be
We'll see.
hilarious.
or they'll go defense.
All
It'll just be
right,
like
so
great.
yeah. All right, so moving on at 22 is Rob Hazu again with the Chargers. This was Adam's pick originally, and it would be going to Mr. Hazu. So you're back on the clock once again.
The Chargers.
I have the Chargers going offense, especially with Harbaugh there. I know they do probably still need a wide receiver,
Mhm.
but I have them going. I feel they need a tight end more, so I have them taking. Is it Colston Loveland?
Yep, from Michigan, where
From
Harbaugh is from.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Boston Loveland. What a name.
Good pick.
Loveland.
That's a nice pick, especially with him
That's a good
falling
pick.
down a little bit in the draft.
Well,
They had them either taking him or if Tyler Warren was still available, but
Yeah, they need a tight end.
yeah. All right. So coming in
Badly.
at number 23 is the Green Bay Packers, and this pick belongs to Tom. You're on the clock.
All right. All right. So, a couple different things that they have. I mean, they do need a cornerback. They do need edge rushers. They will need a safety. Running backs are very deep, so I'm not worried about that in the first round here. But what I would like to do is I definitely do want to grab an edge rusher because there's not going to be a whole lot of them, especially once you pass the second round. So for this pick at number 23, the Green Bay Packers are proud to select Michael Williams out of Georgia.
Nice. Another
Good
prospect
pick.
that fell off from the draft board.
yeah, I'm surprised he was still there.
That's crazy. But what's it called? All right. So coming in at number 24 is the Minnesota Vikings, and once again, Mr. Hazu is back on the clock with the next two picks. So Minnesota is up first.
It is no surprise that they need help on defense, specifically safety.
Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna have the Vikings take my guy from South Carolina, Nick Emanwari.
Woo-hoo, that's my guy right there, too. That dude
Solid.
is scary good.
He's so
Scary
versatile too.
good.
You can even put him on special teams and he'll
Oh.
deliver.
He's
You can
going to
even
do
put
some
him in
damage.
Oh. You can even put him in as a linebacker. This is how good this
Yeah,
kid
you
is.
can.
Yeah. Shit,
Ah.
if he falls and the Bills were actually able to take him, holy crap.
It's gonna
I'd
be
even
really
be okay
tough.
with the Steelers taking him.
It's gonna be really tough depending on what's left on the board for Buffalo. Like
Yeah.
even I would cringe because they got some other defensive needs a little bit ahead of safety. Even though Emmanuel would be absolutely amazing.
hmm
They would be. Okay, so going in at number 25 is the Houston Texans, and once again, Mr. Hazu, you are back on the clock with your
yeah, this is me
second to
again.
last pick in the draft.
Yep.
Okay, no, this time I knew I need. This time I knew I was doing the Texans, so we're not gonna have an issue like with the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, the Cardinals, dude, you were like fucking brain dead.
I'm like, oh wait, what? So I know Texans do need help on the offensive line here, but now with the Tank Dell news, I feel wide receiver now is more of an important need. So I have them taking Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State.
Emeka Ibuka.
Ooh.
Didn't he play with CJ Stroud?
He did.
I think so, yeah.
He sure did.
I wonder why I remember that name because he played with with CJ Stroud at OSU.
Yeah, nice pick. Definitely will develop pretty well in the NFL, so.
Certainly. All right. Next up is the LA Rams at number 26, and this pick belongs to Andy. You're back on the clock.
All right, pretty simple for, well, I wouldn't say pretty simple, but Rams need help everywhere. Well, I wouldn't say everywhere. Um, you know, bye Cooper Cup. So the wide receiver next in line for me, which is a still pretty decently rated receiver. Um, this will be Cooper Cup's replacement for years to come, along with Puka Nakua. We'll see how it goes, but I will be picking for the LA Rams from the University of Missouri, Luther Burden III.
Ah,
there you go.
okay. I like it.
Nice little weapon for
A
Stafford.
good one.
Yeah. Nice
Nice
option
little-
there.
Absolutely, especially with LA's case. I get missing out on Cooper Cup, and we're letting him go, and then going to a division rival. That always sucks. But the memories will cherish on forever in LA. So I wish him all the best without Cooper Cup. But getting Luther Burden's going to help him out big time, because then you have Puka Nakua, and then you have Luther Burden coming in to play with Matthew Stafford. I mean, that's not a bad ordeal. It's not a bad thing.
And I think they may double dip in that at wide receiver in the draft. I don't think it'll just be Luther. I think they're going to double dip there.
Quite possibly. So, all right. So coming in at number 27 is the Baltimore Ravens. You're on the clock, Tom.
All right, so a couple areas that Baltimore needs some help in. They do need an edge rusher. They need a linebacker. Safety is definitely a position in need, and then I also look at the fact that they need help on the inside as well. And I'm actually surprised that this edge rusher ended up falling down as far as he did in this draft that we've been doing. So, but I think overall, best player is still available with where we're at. So, for this pick, number 27, the Baltimore Ravens are going to select Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M.
Hmm.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him for Arizona, but
Yeah, that I'm actually
Went
shocked
elsewhere.
it fell this far down. Honestly, I'm genuinely surprised. But you know what? Top 15 pick, and he falls this
Yeah, it
far
falls down
in
to
the draft.
27.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you may
value
as well
pick
fucking
there.
take him. You may as well take him while you're at it, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So coming in at number 28 is the second to last pick for Andy. Is the Detroit Lions. You're on the clock.
Okay. Well, my Lions, as well as the 49ers, need some help on the defense. But to me, when the Bills played the Dolphins, or sorry, when the Bills played the Lions last year, you knew how bad that defensive line was struggling with all their injuries, as well as the defense as a whole. And losing Aiden Hutchinson for the year was detrimental. It's really tough on the line for them. Primarily at defensive end, and they need some more. Even if it's a rotational player or a starter, they need help there. So with that being said, I am going to select for the Detroit Lions at the 28th pick overall in the first round. It's going to be defensive end from Boston College, Donovan Izuraku.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Boston
okay.
College.
I like that
Donovan
pick.
yeah, I like that pick as well.
Yeah, nice little solid pick for Detroit. But
So I'm
you
going
know
to go
what?
opposite. So I'm going to go opposite of Hutchinson here.
May as well, right?
Yeah, smart move.
Absolutely.
Good move indeed.
Okay, so coming in as my last pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft at number 29 is the Washington Commanders, who surprisingly had a very good season. I mean, knocking out the Lions from the playoffs and going all the way to the NFC Championship game. No one expected them to be this far down because we truly don't know how good they're going to be. But you know what? For a rookie quarterback, for Jayden Daniels, prospectively,
Mhm.
that was a pretty damn good rookie campaign.
Yeah,
Couldn't ask for that much of a better season, honestly.
right.
I mean, there's not much more you could do at that, point. But there are some good players available that are still available on the board. But I mean, they need an edge rusher, they need a corner, they need a safety, defensive lineman, linebacker, etc. Jane Daniels is the least of their issues right now, and well, there's plenty of options you can go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the defensive side of the ball. So with that being said, with the 29th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the Washington Commanders will select Malachi Starks, a safety out of Georgia.
All right, we got our first safety off the board.
Yep. I know. Sorry, guys.
Second safety.
Here, a second.
Who was the first?
Eamon Worry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. My
No,
bad.
no.
Well, that's also what happens when that fucking bastard over there drops out of the call for 10 minutes.
Hey, I mean, I can't help what happened with the fact that the computer Wi-Fi crapped out, although my regular Wi-Fi was fine. So,
Where's your Wi-Fi?
yeah, the computer decided to take a 10-minute sabbatical.
Yep. All right. So coming in at number 30 is Annie's last pick of the draft. At number 30 is the Buffalo Bills. You're on the clock.
Boys, this is tough here, kind of. To me, the bigger need for this team is going to be cornerback, and then I think it'll be followed by a defensive tackle in the second round with their 2 second-round picks that they hold. To me, it's definitely going to be a cornerback. Which one they like the most, I do not know. There is talk of so many different kinds that would fit the Buffalo Bills and their zone defense. I got a lot to look at here. There's 4 cornerbacks that I would take with this pick. I just don't know which one they would like the most with the best fit. I try to watch as much film as I could and get as much background as I could from all of these corners. And I've seen some tape from each and every one of them. They're all good. But as I think of it, this is going to be CB number 2 for the Bills. Obviously, Benford's the lockdown 1. And usually as you have your cornerback 2, those are the smaller, faster receivers for the most part, your wide receiver 2s. So with the 30th overall pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, our Buffalo Bills. Turn it around, as you can see in the camera, if you can.
There you go.
Great new hat. Great new hat. Your Buffalo Bills select from the University of Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston.
I like that pick.
Ran a
Edgy.
4.28 at the combine.
He's a
Well,
quick corner.
Solid.
Hell,
I think he's going to be.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think he's going to be. I mean, to me, any of these guys could really go here with either Trey Amos. He's a zone corner. He could fit here. Ben Morrison from Notre Dame could possibly fit here. All good size, all good corners. I do have a little bit of a problem with Siobhan Revelle coming off an ACL injury from East Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He could very well be a great fit here, but I don't know how he's going to be coming back from an ACL. Usually he'll be okay, but I was watching more film on Maxwell Hairston today, and he's a pretty damn good cover corner, and he's awfully fast.
Well, I mean,
Big plus, and of course, Kyer Elam being shipped out. Hey, there we go. We finally got someone that can take a spot, and I mean now you have Benford as number 1. Potentially have Hairston as number 2. Not a bad problem.
not
I
a bad
mean,
problem at
a
all.
lot of these guys are around the same size and same weight. Amos is 6'1", 195. Siobhan Revelle is 6'2", 195. Morris is 6 foot, 193. And Harrison's a little bit on the little bit of the side. He's like 5'11", 6 foot at 185. But he's running a 4.28 at the combine. He will definitely keep up with players like DeMonta Smith, Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Either Bills are going to need that if they're going to keep facing off versus Kansas City. They're going to need guys that can keep up with guys like Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
and Worthy and all the smaller, faster receivers.
Yeah, and even just comparing that stat when we ended up drafting Elam, I mean, he had a 4.39 40 and he was 6'1", 192 before he basically shit the bed and we ended up cutting him and he decided to sign with the Cowboys. So it's it's better stats from what you're getting with Hairston, which is a huge plus, and plus the upside is really there.
Yeah, there's always
Yeah.
plenty of upside with these guys. I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, it's a completely different level as far as like the college perspective. You know,
But Elam was a press corner. He wasn't a zone corner, and he just couldn't translate to becoming zone corner, and that's why he got burned every time he was on the field.
He also
So I
sp-
think
sorry, what?
I think Harrison does both. From what I can recollect, after this. I'm gonna go back and try and learn more about Harrison. I'm just going by the somewhat limited information I have from him because these last 2 days I was concentrating on Ravel because I believe he had a visit with the Bills as well.
Yeah.
I think Amos might have had one, but I know Siobhan Ravel had one. So it could be any of these kids, any of these corners, but I think it's going to be the bigger need for the Bills.
Mhm.
And even though I love Kenneth Grant, and if he was there, it'd be very tough for me if I was Bean. But I'm going for the starting need versus the, as of right now, rotational need.
Mhm.
Because if you get Grant, he's going to be behind, Daquan Jones. At least as a rotational, but I'll eventually take over for Daquan Jones. But the bigger need is definitely corner. You got to get a number 2 corner locked down.
Yeah, for sure. And even looking at the Draft Network, which is one of the sites that does a lot of the scouting reports, one of the things that mentioned about Maxwell Hairston is that he's definitely better in zone schemes versus the press coverage. So that's a huge plus.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
basically being able to have a lot of explosive speed, especially working with the zone and being able to recognize a lot of the different plays that do come out. That's a huge plus. Now, what it also mentioned is he lacks discipline in press coverage, so that's something he would potentially have to work with. But I mean, usually the Bills run more of his own scheme anyway, so it's like in that case, I think he's a better fit compared to what you would have with Elam to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Elam was more man coverage than he was zone. He had to learn zone, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he failed.
Anyways, so we're gonna move on to the 31st pick, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. God help us all.
Weefs.
Rob Hazu is in control of this pick, so go ahead, buddy. Number 31, your last pick of the draft.
Yeah, this is the one that took me a while to figure out. But yeah, after considering what happened in the Super Bowl, it is clear they need help on that offensive line more than anything.
Mhm.
So I have them taking Gray Zabel from North Dakota State.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
Who'd
Yeah,
you take?
he's-
I'm sorry.
Gray Zabel. The
North Dakota State.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we are down to our final pick of the first round, which belongs to the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And Tom is the one that is being honored with the pick. So go ahead. You're the last pick of the first round.
All right. So Eagles have a couple of needs. I mean, this is typically because with free agency, you do have people that leave after winning a title, and then of course you have people that are coming off of contracts. One of the things that was apparent to me is either they need a defensive lineman or they need someone on the inside on the offensive line. And there's a couple of different ways I was thinking about this. Plus, I mean, there is an offensive tackle on the board, but it's not as much of a critical need, I think, at this point. Also, I mean, could the Eagles use a linebacker? Sure. I mean, that's also another position in need as well. But I have to look at what's going to be better long term, especially with Jalen Hurts. I mean, do you give him something? Do you give him someone that can protect him, or do you try to fill one of the other skill positions of need at this point? And I mean, defensively, the Eagles are not bad, But if I had to make a choice, and there's a couple of them that I was thinking, I initially thought, okay, Tyler Booker, great to have on the inside. But then when you look at Walter Nolan or Derek Harmon, I mean, there's other defensive linemen in the draft that would fall a little bit further back, and of course, there's still going to be the need. But one of the things I was surprised about in this draft also is knowing that the linebacker position is another area of need. I'm actually surprised that he is still available at 18. So I'm going to go ahead and pick him up. I'm going to take out of Alabama Jahad Campbell.
Jahad Campbell. Okay.
That's probably going
So-
to be the steal of our mock draft, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's recap the 2025 mock draft. So I would say this has been a pretty successful draft for everybody this year, and obviously there are some pros and cons, and there are some surprise picks. So I figure we go around the room like we do every year and see who got the benefit of the draft and who was the best player available drafted. So let's start with Rob. Who do you think was the best player taken in this draft?
For my picks are just overall.
Just an overall.
Overall, let's see.
Are you trying to find the board, Tom?
Yeah, apparently it doesn't give me a recap because for some reason it went right into the second round.
It's interesting. Even
I
though we're
guess-
not doing
Yeah,
this
the ones that are
anymore.
grayed out though are the people that were drafted.
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm still thinking.
I would say, I'll skip you for now, and then we'll go back. So, Tom, what do you think was the best pick in the draft that we've done?
There are definitely some good players I'm thinking of. I would have to say, I think Armin Membo was definitely one. I would also say, just given where it was in the draft, Nick Emenwari was probably one of the standouts I can think of.
I think so too. Andy, what do you think? Best player in the draft?
There's a few that I think, well, at least will serve their teams well. At least with our mock draft, who knows come draft day what's going to happen. But I think Abdul Carter going to the Giants really solidifies that line. And you're talking about Thibodeau, you're talking about Burns, you're talking about Abdul Carter, and I know there's one more that I'm missing that is very, very good player. But that front four is scary.
Yeah, it's about as good as any.
If they grab Abdul Carter, let's see, going down the line,
Well, didn't you write your own shit down?
Oh yeah. I mean, Nick Emmanuel, like we said, is going to be a great, great player. At least I think the Vikes picking him. I mean, that's a great pickup. The Lions with my pick with Donovan. I mean, they need a pass rusher to complement Aiden Hutchinson. Their defense isn't bad when it's banged up at all. It just, it had very bad luck last year. And, I think, the Bills getting a corner that they desperately need at cornerback too fills a big hole, and then they can focus, their next pick on defensive tackle, move up if they need to. They got tons of draft capital with 10 picks. They can always move up and grab another guy if they want to. And, like I said with the Bucks, like I was going between James Pierce Jr. and Jahad Campbell. I just felt the bigger need for them was defensive end, but Jahad Campbell is definitely another one to keep that superb Eagles defense going.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
I mean, the bias in me wanted to say Eamon Murray, but
Don't worry about the biases. It's open draft.
Yeah, it's just whatever your thoughts
no,
are.
of course. But I'm actually interested to see how Genty does with the Raiders.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm the most intrigued by, just based on this draft, I'm the most intrigued by Marcus Golden going to the Falcons at 15 because it made sense and they needed a wide receiver outside of Drake London. Really, they didn't really have anybody else. And Kyle Pitts, who was like in the last year of his deal, it's not a guarantee he stays. But I think it just gives them a little extra blanket to actually, I think, get over to what they need to have because Penix is getting better and he's likely going to be the QB1. And having two solid receivers, I think, is going to benefit the Falcons. That's what I think. But at the same time, I'm also intrigued by the idea of Shador Sanders, just because of the fact that the Jets. I mean, it's the fucking Jets, but Shador Sanders, he could very well turn into a good quarterback. I mean, I doubt it, but at the same time, you have Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. One of them would likely get caught, if anything. Maybe Tyrod at that point, because there's no way the Jets would part ways with Shador Sanders. Unless he just somehow becomes a cancer, then I don't think that it would really, hurt them long term. At least that's what I think.
I think Shadur goes to the Giants, to be honest with you. I think they pull the trigger on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, any help that they can get, especially on that front.
Well,
Even
I
though
also
they signed the two quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I also wouldn't be completely surprised if Travis Hunter becomes a really stud corner for the Browns long term because he's already said, I'm not playing wide receiver. I'm playing as a corner. So I think for the Browns to get Hunter, I think would really benefit them. But because let's be real here for a minute. He's probably going to be the best player on the Browns next to Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett in next 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's going
Yeah.
to be enough to make them relevant because the fucking Browns are terrible. And God rest his soul moving forward because his career will go to die very quickly in Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah, just real quick too, real time update. Sabres are losing to Columbus 3-2 with about 4:46 left in the third, and McKinnon is out against the Canucks.
I heard he might be out for the remainder of the regular season.
Yes.
Well,
they're going to keep him healthy till the playoffs.
Smart.
Yep, and Devils clinch, so they get Carolina in the first round.
Hello, gentlemen sweep.
Right? Oh man, but I was gonna say, as long as we got everybody here, how about Ovechkin hitting 895 this past week? That was freaking sweet to see.
Oh yeah, that was a milestone that had to be partaken. Everybody's talking about this.
Yeah. How much do you want to bet that Wayne Gretzky was privately fuming about the fact that it's like, fuck, my record's done?
I don't think he is because I think he knows that he's got the most
Yeah.
points ever and the most assists ever. I don't
And
think
nobody's
anybody
touching
will catch
those.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's touching those. So you know what? Sure, the goals. Yeah, okay. The goals have been broken 3 times now
Right.
between Gordie Howe, Gretzky, and now Ovechkin. So obviously, and you know what? Even Austin Matthews, as of right now, has a good chance of breaking it. So
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy. But I gotta say though, Gretzky's got at least over 1,200 points more than Ovechkin, anyways, in assists and everything. So I mean, there's no way that Ovi's gonna hit that part. But that was a good goal for him though, right from the left circle.
Oh yeah, and you know what too is that because Ovechkin reached the top of the mountain in terms of the all-time record in scoring, there is nobody that's ever going to surpass Ovi at this point. But I will say that what we witnessed on Sunday was a once-in-a-generational thing.
Mhm.
It truly was, because we will never ever
Absolutely.
see this again.
Yeah.
More than likely.
I would say the warm-up pucks for that game alone were going at almost $400 a piece.
I think they were being sold in the arena for $350.
Yeah, it was up there.
wow.
And
I mean-
and one just sold for $3,500.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and
Let me
it
guess,
started-
eBay?
eBay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and what's even
Get the
and
fuck out of here.
And what's even crazier is the starting ticket price was $800.
Yeah,
That
didn't
was
like
the
didn't some of them top out at over $5,000 a seat or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the most it was 5 grand. I wanted to go on Sunday, but as soon as I saw the ticket price, I said, "Fuck that noise! I can't do it."
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I mean, that was just crazy. But then I get it. I mean, that's like a chance to see a once in a generational event.
Yeah, the
What-
only one I saw was his 700th goal.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You
I,
and
re-
me
I
now.
remember
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
remember Gretzky breaking the Gordie Howe's record. I was young, but I remember it, and then
Yeah.
seeing it with
in the
Alex was
90s.
another amazing thing to watch. I mean, I watched him. I didn't get to watch him get 895. I was at work, but I was able to see him get 894, and even that tying it was amazing. So, yeah, and he's one of my favorite players to ever watch. You know, being a righty like me, I shoot right-handed, and
Yeah.
I'm big on right-handed power forwards, and him being one of them. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I mean, I shoot right, and just watching him, I mean, he's one of those players. I mean, yeah, there's been some wars over the past. I mean, especially with him and the Pens, and just seeing him play is just been one of the great things over the last 20 some seasons. And I like the fact that he did not want 895 to be an empty netter. I'm
Yeah, it
glad
was
that
great.
he didn't want it that way. He
I
wanted to
respect
do it
that
the
a lot.
clean way. So definitely glad that he chose to do that, and he got it in the next game. So I mean, that was great. But the respect that he has, I mean, I love the fact that he finally got that cup a few years ago. I mean, after all this time, I mean, I
Yeah, it
wanted
was
him to
a
win
wonderful
that.
hockey moment.
Glad to watch him win it.
He would not let that cup go.
I don't blame him.
He
I don't
literally
blame
slept
him.
with it.
Right, and drinking beer out of it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you never know where you're gonna get it again.
Right.
I would
mean,
definitely eat fruity pebbles out of that cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's like getting the cup. I mean, for some people, it's like a once in a career achievement. So the fact that he ended up getting that, certainly was great to see that. But then also, one of the things that was nice to see, and I don't know if you guys saw this online, but Marc-Andre Fleury's last home start and his kids be on the ice with him, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah, and he gets the win in overtime, which is even better.
Yeah, and you know what? For Flower to go out the way he is going to go out, I think is a really, really good ending. It's a storybook ending, at least from Flower's perspective. Him and Ovi. I should mention that Ovi has previously said in the past that once he breaks Gretzky's record, he was going to sign over in Russia in the KHL, and he was going to wrap his career from there.
Yeah, he's got one more year and on his current deal, and I think that's it. He's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
But do you think he reaches 900?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do one more
Yeah.
season, up his record a little bit more, and then call it.
Yeah, probably. I'm guessing probably hit like closer to 950 by the time he's done.
More than likely. Let's see. Did Ovi score a goal? The answer is he did not. I'm looking at the Carolina score.
Yeah, they're up 4-2 right now.
The Steelers are so cooked for shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, our buddy Derek actually messaged you, Rob, about that.
yeah. Well, how about Peter Laviolette wearing out his welcome with the Rangers because apparently he didn't give
Love
a
it.
crap about saying anything to the team after that last loss.
Yeah, no. And you know what's funny too is I actually have seen reports that Chris Drury is going to keep his job as GM and then fire Peter Laviolette. There has been talk of that.
Hey, Sabres, here's your chance.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not-
a flurry.
But of course, they end up deciding,
Giving
oh yeah, let's
Celebrini
win
his
the
first
last several
hat-trick.
games.
That's funny. In a way that I don't want Lavi here because he's too much of an egomaniac to coach the Sabres. I
Yeah,
want someone
and-
fresh with new ideas.
Yeah, and the Sabres pulled their goaltender, so they're down to the last minute 47.
Can you take Warsofsky from the Sharks, please? I don't want that cloud anymore.
Oh,
I
man.
I was not a fan of that hiring since day one.
Right. But then there was some sad news over the past couple days. Ray Shiro passed away at the age of what was it, 62 or 63?
He was 62.
Yeah, 62. So, yeah, so he was the architect of the Pittsburgh Penguins when they ended up getting their Cup wins, and then of course he did a lot with New Jersey, and he's been with some other teams as well. So, yeah, may he rest in peace.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace. Thank you for kickstarting this rebuild in Jersey.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're so mean.
Oh.
Me?
Well, Bobby, I don't think they're
Yeah,
gonna
you.
like this, but your Islanders are getting their ass handed to them by the Rags 5-1.
Patrick Waugh can go fuck himself. He can fuck up tomorrow and shove his head up a fucking rabbit's anus for all I care.
And you still
Shall
got
never-
17:30 in the third yet, so who knows if it's gonna get worse.
Tom, it's gonna get worse. The Sabres are losing to the fucking Blue Jackets, and the Islanders are getting blown out in front of the whole country by the goddamn Rangers. You think I'm satisfied at that point?
Oh, I
We
know
shall
you hate
never
the
forget.
Rangers.
Larson for Hall, 1-for-1.
Oh
God
yeah,
fucking damn it.
I
That was one
remember
of Ray Shiro's finest trades.
It really
Adam
was.
Larson for Taylor
Mhm.
Hall, yeah. But I remember you a few years ago. You were saying, "Oh, I'm not a big fan of Ray Shiro."
Yep, me and a lot of other Devils fans.
Yeah. Ooh, and
Well-
the Bruins lost to the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2.
Oh my god.
Oh, the
Uh.
Chicago. Oh, God. Yeah, the Bruins are a dumpster fire right now. But then I know Connor Bedard took a lot of shit this past week after shaking hands with Ovechkin with the face that he got caught with.
Now what? What did he do now?
No, he had like the look of disgust when he ended
He
up
did.
shaking Ovechkin's hand.
What an untitled prick. Literally.
So,
It's gonna be funny when Celebrini becomes better than Bedard.
well, it's very true that could happen. I mean, Chicago sucks right now. And they've done nothing to build around Bedard.
No.
I also want to file an apology form in regards to Will Smith, the Sharks player, not the actor.
Oh, man.
I hated that pick, and he's proving me wrong.
Yeah,
Mm.
but
It's
there
Timo
is
Meyer all over again.
absolutely. So I actually have a question for y'all, and it's not even a sports question. I actually have a logical question to ask you.
Okay.
Did any of you, and I'm sure 90% of us have seen this, did any of you see the article that came out about the extinction of the dire wolves?
I heard a little bit about that.
Yes.
Do you know?
Apparently, they're back after 10,000 years or something.
That is correct. So what happened is there's a company in Dallas. They're called Colossal Biosciences, and what they do is their goal is to de-extinct animals that died nearly 10,000 years ago during the Pleistocene era, which is like the mammoths and the saber-toothed cats and animals, things like that. And one of the animals that they were able to create was a woolly mouse. And they took mammoth genes and they put it onto a mouse, and they were able to create a new species. And they're able to use the DNA to make the mammoth come back to life. You know, Jurassic Park shit here, basically. And bring back the woolly mammoths back to life onto Earth and let them roam again. But the whole dire wolf thing is very interesting because people were saying, "Oh, that's not a real dire wolf. You know, it's just a gray wolf with dire wolf genetics." I mean, listen, meat is meat is meat. Yes, it has 99.5% of the gray wolf's genes, but it's still bigger in size. And if I'm not mistaken, there are 3 of them currently in the world right now, and the plan is to keep reproducing them to the point where you basically bring this creature back to life and you send them out into the wild.
Interesting thought.
Well, I mean, again, this is an animal that's been dead for 10,000 years, and scientists all now just all of a sudden brought it back to life. So, I think, though, generally speaking, you know, it's very infatuating story because it's like no one thought this would ever happen, and we're in the year 2025, and we have the technology to apparently bring back animals.
Makes you wonder what other animals we can bring back.
Yeah, really.
Well, they've been talking about reincarnating the dodo. They've been
Yes.
talking about, yeah, imagine that, seeing a bunch of fucking dodos running around.
Oh, I'd love it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, And then I think they said the Tasmanian tiger, that was one of the animals that was going to be brought back,
That'd
and the
be cool.
mammoth, of course, and the
Yes, bring
smilodon.
back the mammoth.
Oh yeah, I think that's their main objective, and they also want to reincarnate the red wolf, even though it's alive technically still. They want to recreate the population before it goes extinct.
That'd be
No,
great.
it would be, and I think this is a huge step for not just in science, but in terms of conservation and things like that. I think this is a monumental step forward, and a lot of people were like, "What the fuck is a dire wolf?" Well, if you ever seen Game of Thrones with Jon Snow, he has a pet dire wolf, and I think he named it Ghost, if I remember correctly.
Think so.
Yeah, no, I love that they did this because a lot of people are making a lot of claims about certain animals, and it's like, oh, that's not a dire wolf or something like that. And it has its own cover on the Time magazine, right?
Mhm.
Time magazine has its own cover, and it's one of like the big news outlets, and it's everywhere, dude.
Right.
Dude, the guy who owns the company Colossal Biosciences went on the fucking Joe Rogan show and actually was promoting this stuff.
That's interesting, and I will say it is official. Sabres lost 3-2 against the Blue Jackets.
Whatever. Fuck the Sabres.
You've given up on them so far, haven't you?
It's not even that, Tom. If you have a couple of bad seasons, I get it. It'll be like, okay, you could bounce back. Look at the Devils.
Right.
The Devils, they had a couple of bad seasons, but they were
After
able to
that
bounce
cup
back. And they're playing Carolina again in round one.
Mhm.
But when you're on a trend for 14 years of not making the playoffs, you kind of just say, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you there. And there was actually some interesting news too, and we actually were one of the first places to break it earlier in the week. But Erie County is walking away from the KeyBank Center lease, and now control will revert to the city of Buffalo, which means there is the possibility that Pegula could buy the KeyBank Center outright.
Well, if he does, then he does. I mean, there's no way around that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, I have a better one. How about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. getting 14 years for $500 million for 335 guaranteed by the Blue Jays with no deferred money?
Woo, he got paid.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah. Might have to take a ride up to Toronto.
Well, yeah, I think so too. And you know what? You should go to Toronto, dude. You're going to be seeing Vlad Jr. now for the majority of your adult years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally the face of that franchise.
Yeah.
He's the only
100%.
reason why they're relevant.
True.
Right.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. I would have loved Vlad Jr. on the Mets, but it takes something called it would take a little bit of like a sacrificial lamb in this situation. In other words, you'd have to get rid of Pete Alonso to bring in Vlad Jr.
Right.
and then pay him what he wants.
At least you have an owner that spends.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel so bad for you that you live in a communist dictatorship in Pittsburgh.
Between that and the Rays.
What did the Rays do now?
Well,
Nothing.
apparently
That's the
Tropicana Field's still a dump.
Yeah. Oh, speaking
Which
of
is going to get repaired, thankfully. The St. Pete did approve that.
Well, that's good. I mean, now that they have no new stadium happening anytime soon.
Thanks, Stu.
Yeah,
It's like the
good
league
job.
wants you out.
Yeah. But I know, Rob, you were pissed about Zach Campbell this week.
Oh,
God.
Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead and
God.
vent, man. This is your time.
Oh, man. Took me a while to see that replay, so of course I overreacted. And I'm like, oh, look at this. Look at this D-bag. Interfering. They said it still wasn't catchable, but hey, you never know. He might have been able to jump up that fence. I saw Mangum do it in today's game.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that it was, the first reaction is like, you know what? Fuck Zach Campbell.
Even though we
Fuck
met
that-
him. And don't get me wrong, he is a nice guy in person and everything.
yeah,
That's just
you
my
met
emotions
him with
getting the
us.
Yeah, I like the emotions got the better of me, but
Yeah, I mean,
it just sucks. That's kind of why they lost the game.
Yeah.
the supreme level of butthurt.
Between that and then the horrible strike call that was the ball, but
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That was like... Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Morrell got ejected for reacting after you struck out.
I don't blame him.
Right?
I don't blame him. Or how about that call with how about that Houston game where he ended up having the grand slam and then the intentional hit by a pitch,
Yeah.
and then of course you get the brawl and the ejection.
And then the Pirates game the other day, we have Eddie Rodriguez coming from first, nailing Joey Bart.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That whole collision, that somehow Brian Hayes still gets the out at home.
right. And
Oh,
then
yep,
a lot of
that's
people,
the Pirates in a nutshell.
yeah, and then a lot of people now they're like, well, enjoy Paul Skeens while you have him because he ain't gonna be resigning once his contract's up.
Yeah.
Unless Nutter
I don't know
actually
what's gonna
decides
happen
to
there.
actually grow a set and finally do something for a change and stop being a cheap ass.
Yeah, please.
Well,
He literally had Skeens pretty much call him out on it too.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, let's see. He gets rid of the Roberto Clemente tribute in right field, covers it up with some stupid advertisement thing.
Surfside.
Yeah, and then he gets rid of the blocks in front of the stadium that everyone paid for, and then finds them in some dump over like a county over, and
Like, I
then
know they get rid of those blocks.
yeah,
like,
that the
after a
fans
certain
paid
amount
to
of time,
have it
but
scripted
still.
and everything, right? Kind of like
Let
what
the
we have
fans
at the
get
Key
them
Center.
at least.
Yeah, kind of like what we have at the KeyBank Center. I paid like $100 for my nameplate on the wall. Bobby's seen it there. I've actually shown him it. It's on the
Yes, I
20.
have.
Yeah, it's on the 2010s column, and at the same time, it's like Nutter's like shitting on the fans, and then of
Always.
course it's like, oh, you're not allowed to wear a paper bag in protest. It's like,
It's like
why?
it's like with Pagula with when he said a few months ago.
Cue the
Oh,
anthem.
it's like you can't bring inflatable palm trees to the games because otherwise they confiscate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
We
you
did
know,
that in Jersey. We
right.
had the palm trees.
Yeah, and Nutter's actually lucky that McCutcheon actually signed again. So it's like you don't have a crap team, but you gotta spend some money
like
and
it.
rebuild.
You gotta.
Big thing is,
And he
spending
doesn't want to
money.
do it.
And I'm not even sold on the outfield.
No, I'm
Well,
not either.
I don't blame you. I would be too.
Oh,
I
O'Neal
would be too
Cruz.
if I was a Pirates fan.
Oh, O'Neal
Yeah, I
Cruz.
mean, look at them defensively, how they've blown a couple games already this year.
Yep. It just
Well,
sucks that Reynolds can't field right now.
Right, and now Skin's got a couple losses because of it.
Yep.
Sucks. But you know what though? I figured, to wrap up the 2025 annual mock draft, I figured, Rob, why don't you tell us your experience in Pittsburgh for the Pirates game this past weekend before we wrap up?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That fan base is hilarious.
I was gonna say, did you manage to hit Permane Brothers when you were down there? The place
We
right
didn't-
there,
we
the
didn't
fries
have
on
a
the sandwich.
car, but they did have Permanente Brothers in the in PNC Park, so so Kevin got to try them
Nice.
because I tried them the last time I was in Pittsburgh, which was 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Well, did you catch any balls there?
I came close, but unfortunately, no.
Damn.
Okay.
Look at you.
But yeah, that stadium is as beautiful as you think it is.
Nice.
Well, that's a certainty. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about PNC Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really feels like a baseball stadium.
Yeah, most people usually have it in the top 5 of all the stadiums league wide, and I'm not surprised about that. I mean, I've been on the outside of it. I've never been inside the stadium, but it's just a really nice area where it is, right on the river. and-
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
It wasn't
so-
that bad of a walk from our hotel either.
nice. You stay right in the downtown.
Oh no, we were a little bit outside.
Okay.
Well, you know what I could say to you, Rob, is this. You now have the ability to say, I've seen the Bucks play at home and on the road.
And I finally saw them win a damn game.
Yeah, the last time you went to a Mets Pirates game with me, they got shut out, and Josh Bell was still there,
And Trevor Williams was pitching, and I hated that guy.
Right.
I think that's the first ever game that I think we've ever done together.
It was. Was it Trevor Williams? I think it was Trevor Williams
I
pitching
can-
that game.
I can look it up for you real quick. because luckily for the MLB Ballpark app, it at least it gives you all the information you need for every game you go to ever. As long as you
It
have,
was either that or I forget the other guy's name that I didn't like.
well, I'm gonna look up the name for you now, just to kind of give you an idea. All right,
was great
so
too.
yeah, I'm looking up the pictures now. I remember that was actually a no hitter game, I believe, from Steven Matz. He had a no hitter.
Yeah, yep, he did.
I think it was his rookie year too, if I'm not mistaken.
What
Let me
was
see.
cool about PNC Park is they redid the team store.
Yeah, Trevor Williams
That's
was the
cool.
pitcher at that time for the Pirates.
I should have brought it, but I want a free bobblehead. And you
Oh,
think it would have been a
nice.
Pirates player or something? No, it was Wiz Khalifa.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is from there.
God damn.
But yeah, they
Yeah,
did
it
a
was
great
Khalifa,
job for
right?
opening weekend and opening day in particular. They had 6 Ave blocked off.
I wish though
They had
that
a lot
if
of
I would,
festivities. It was great.
Mhm.
I wish that I wasn't going to Seattle for the cruise because at that time frame the Mets were playing the Pirates. I would have said if I wasn't going on the cruise, I would have said, "Hey, you want to go to the game?" But I'm going to be away, so it doesn't really matter.
Tickets are so cheap.
Yeah, aren't they like less than $20 a seat or something
I'm
crazy?
saying in
Because
general,
nobody
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah,
No, I mean not for us since we went opening weekend, but the only day we paid more than 30 was the first home game.
Okay.
at least you
Yeah.
got something out of it.
Yeah, I'm glad I got that pin and everything.
Nice.
So, how many stadiums have you been to now?
Was it 5? Yeah, old and new Yankee Stadium. No, 6, I guess.
So,
Old and
let me
new
think.
Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium and City Field, and now Tropicana Field and PNC Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's Citi Field, New Yankee Stadium, Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, and I'm going to
Mhm.
T-Mobile Park in a few weeks to Seattle.
Yeah. And then for me, it's been City Field and Citizens Bank Park, and possibly if I can pull it off, actually see a game inside the Rogers Center maybe at some point.
I think you should do it regardless.
I mean, it's
And I'm
only
hoping-
it's less than an hour and a half for me, and I'm 5 miles from the Queenston Bridge, so I mean, I
Oh,
can
perfect.
just real easy hop, skip, and jump over the river to Canada.
Yeah,
Hoping
do
to
it.
knock off Fenway in May.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Tom, you will literally have no excuse. You have the Pirates and you have the Blue Jays.
True. Yeah, and I mean, and to go down to Pittsburgh, it's about a 4-hour ride, so that's not bad.
Yeah, lucky you. It would
Yeah,
take me
done that
pretty
plenty
much
of
the
times.
Yeah, think of it like this. Because if God forbid, we'll find out in a few weeks, obviously, and we'll announce it on the show, is if Road to 32, when that drops on, I think it's the first Thursday or the second Thursday of May,
Mm-hmm.
we're probably going to find out eventually about the schedule. And Pittsburgh is actually on that list. So for me, from Long Island to Jersey, then from all across of East Pennsylvania all the way to West Pennsylvania, that's a 5-6 hour drive. That's
Yeah.
almost the same amount of time as it would take me to get to Buffalo,
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
at least from my perspective.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Kevin and I only did the train just because it was more comfortable. We didn't have to worry about gas or anything.
Yeah. Plus, I was to say the train station is not far from PNC Park, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not too far.
Hey, it's only maybe like a few blocks or something like that, but I know it's like right up by the Hill District or something like that.
Yep.
Because I know now they call it Acrisure Stadium. That's literally almost right next door, and then of
It's
course
still
you have
Huntsville.
then you have the trolley that I know you can go into downtown Pittsburgh that way, which drops off right at the football stadium, and then I know PPG Arena is more in the downtown, so it's a little bit from there. But I mean, I've been to that arena twice now, and actually been to the Igloo as well before they tore that down. And I will say, I wanted to see at least one game in the Igloo, and I'm glad I did. That was an interesting building to be in.
Yeah, that must
Yeah.
have been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seating
I mean-
sucked ass in there with some of the stuff, but it just like for the history of it, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to go to T-Mobile Park just for the idea that because we've already been to Seattle, I have nothing to lose at this point, and we were in the outside in the team store of T-Mobile Park, home of the Mariners, And the fact that I'm going there again because I'm going on a cruise to Alaska,
Mhm.
and the fact that I have 2 free days to myself before the trip, and I get a chance to go to T-Mobile Park, I think is going to be a really nice experience. As
Yeah.
I'll get to bring my glove, and I'll try to catch a ball there, and obviously I'll get a chance to see the Mariners play baseball. And if you haven't seen it, I have the trailer ready to go for Red 32 for the Seattle Mariners. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it
Mhm.
out. It's a fun little thing I put together, and yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Honestly, I'm thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say Seattle was definitely a fun city when we went. And I mean, it was definitely a trip I enjoyed, and it was cool. We got to explore a little bit of T-Mobile Park just with the team store, but we didn't get to see any actual games because, of course, it wasn't baseball season yet. But just that whole area, and then with uh, Lumen Field being right next door. I mean, that was a fun atmosphere on game day.
It was. I mean, it's funny enough because Brett and I were just talking about Seattle recently for that game, and we were just like, that was a fun trip all around. Just having to fly out was a pain in the
Mhm.
ass, but
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
at
with
the
us
end,
flying out at like 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific time.
oh
With
god,
having to go
yeah,
back to the airport and drop the car off, and then of course gas was like $5 a gallon.
which is
Oh my
nuts.
god. I
Yeah,
lucked out with the Tampa trip.
yeah. But although it was cool, we got to see Randall Morris there. So when we went right before the actual game, that was pretty cool.
It was, and again, I'm glad that it worked out the way it did
Mhm.
ultimately. But like I said, I can't wait to go back to Seattle to see the Mariners, and
So,
that pretty much would be, I guess you could say that would complete the first uh non-New York state that I've done as far as all the major sports. Because
yeah.
I would at that point seen the Seahawks, the Kraken, and the Mariners at that point.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, plus I would say Vancouver, Canada was a lot of fun to go to when we were out there that last time, and watching game in the Rogers Arena. That was nice.
Yeah, it definitely was. I
Yeah.
mean,
And we ended
Vancouver
up on
was
the big
nice.
ass jumbotron there.
One bite, sound bite, I'll never forget it because it's on tape. Is Brett saying, "We're in Canada."
Yeah. Although one thing I don't ever want to see again. Remember when we took the train, that one elevator smelled like there's like 7 day old piss in there or something that was nasty.
God,
Oh,
Oh
sounds like one of the malls here in New Jersey.
yeah. Ugh. That was
Garden
beyond
State
brutal.
Plaza for you.
Yeah. But we got into downtown Vancouver real quick, which was pretty cool. It was a scenic ride, so
Forgot to
certainty.
mention I did get 2 autographs on the trip too.
nice.
What'd you
Who'd you
get?
get?
So for the pregame for the home opener, they had uh John Candelaria and Steve Blass.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
So we got to meet them, get their autographs, took a picture. That was really
Yeah.
cool.
One thing I was not happy about is I actually ended up missing an autograph session at Dave and Adams here locally the other day because I know they had some Sabres alums up there, and had I known about it, I would have loved to go up there.
Oh, you're by David Adams. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm about 25 minutes out, but I mean it's close. I mean, there's only one of there used to be several of them. Now there's only the one main store that they have, but not too far from there. Though they did open another BFLO store, so I mean they've got that, but still the main store is where they do all the big stuff.
Yeah, I bought plenty of cards from them and Steel City Collectibles.
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is, right by where my new house is, there's actually a collectible. There's a shop just literally like right up the street. So
There you
that
go.
part's actually pretty interesting. But that's the fun part. I'm like next to everything now.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, so I think with that being said, is there anything else you guys want to discuss before we wrap up?
Mm, nothing too much I can think of on the Bill side. Although they did top out the stadium this past week, so that's basically by the end of the year they
Nice.
should be putting in the natural grass.
It's gonna
Bye
be
bye
great.
AstroTurf. We're gonna have natural grass finally on the heated field.
Awesome.
Yes. That stadium is freaking huge. Just like even when I drove by it not that long ago. It's totally different because it's not in ground like the current one is. It is like massive. It's like at least twice the height of the current one.
Big time.
Yeah, but no, it'll be fun to see what they do, and then it'd be interesting to see what happens once they tear down the old stadium and how they redevelop it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time overall. I mean, I can't wait for the stadium to be done.
Hmm. Yeah, same here. Definitely be a good time. So it's like we'll see this season if I can try to snag a game ticket or something and go to one last game in the old place before it switches over. I'd be up for it.
There you go.
Yeah, but other than that, note to Terry Pagula: fire Kevin Adams, get a president of hockey operations, and get a GM that actually knows what they're doing.
For the billionth time.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, I know. It's wishful thinking, though.
Just like,
You know
just
what?
like, I feel your
To
pain.
be honest with you, like I said, listening to what Larry Quinn said, he went really hard on Tim Murray for basically fucking this up to start.
Yeah, well, I mean, he
You guys got to listen to that podcast. Like, there's so much information from when he came in the mid '90s to when he left in the like around 2014.
Mhm.
Yeah, the shit that I heard about that fucking team and the teams that they've come together, how and why they were looking at Drury for so long. You know, a lot of players, Dominic Hasek's role in the '90s, and
Yep.
the fight that he did not have with Jim Kelly, the sports reporter back in the '90s. Like, there is some pretty cool shit that he was talking about that you would never hear from a former president of hockey ops.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, listen to it. If you got an hour of spare time, listen to it.
Yeah, I could check it out later tonight or tomorrow, just for some good listening and all that. And yeah, and you bring up a good point. I mean, Murray did screw up a lot of stuff. Not only did he kill the Amherst, he killed the Sabres at the same time.
This is all from him fucking everything up, from, like you said, from the Amerks and basically emptying the cupboard of prospects to making stupid fucking trades. Getting rid of players that shouldn't have been traded, and it was kind of like a trickle down effect that everyone's trying to pick up his pieces. And to be honest, you got to think from it starting from Tim Murray, you got to still kind of think in a way that it's not Kevin's fault. He's trying to find players that don't have trade clauses. Trade clauses have ruined the NHL to making trades. So, you're very limited of who you can get. Can the money match? Then you got to look in free agency. Nobody's going to want to come here now, with everything that has happened. Yeah, did he fuck up with Eichel?
No.
Sure. In
Well,
a small way. Small
What do you-
way.
Well, in a small way, because I think it was basically pick Eichel or you're going to lose support. I think that's what he was, he was kind of hog-tied in that situation. So it's like, at that point,
Yeah.
you just have to think to yourself, shit, if I pass up on Eichel, then everyone's going to hate my ass. So I might as well just take him. But I don't really think he wanted to be there to begin with. I think Tim Murray was just doing his own thing at that point. Like, I understood what he was trying to do in the beginning of all of it. Getting Evander Kane, getting Ryan O'Reilly,
Yeah.
training for Robin Leonard, which I was not a fan of at that time. Giving up a first-round pick for him was just so uncalled for. And I think I liked what he was trying to accomplish, but he just did it very, very poorly. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, he was looking for a quick fix, and he fucked it up for years to come, and we're still picking up the pieces to me. So I don't see, the thing is that I don't. Does Terry need a hockey ops guy? Sure.
Yes, he does.
Does he have a hockey ops or a football ops guy with the Bills? No. So, I mean, he likes to have direct contact with his general managers. I mean, that's just how it is. I don't know if he'll ever consider it because he likes to be in touch with, even though we see him mostly with the Bills during the regular season of hockey. I guess, with the contact he has with Adams every day, sure. Okay, but you know what, man? It's like you're focusing on one team and not the other during the season, really. Have a guy in place to be that hockey ops guy to let you know what's going on. And, you know, it was kind of crazy when you listen to Larry Quinn talking about being the president and things he went through with Tom Golisano and not, you know, Golisano didn't want to fucking own the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
He knew nothing about hockey.
Right. He basically
So,
just held
you know,
on
he
to him
took-
for a
he
short
took-
time.
Yeah. He took the short bet and it paid off for him, but the team that, you know, Larry Quinn and Regier were building through those early 2000 years. And I mean, I'll tell you, it was pretty insightful. Even how he got started and got picked to run that team. He actually said as he was beginning, he had a 2-hour lunch with Bobby Orr about how to run a team from a president's perspective.
Ooh, nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Really
It is
good, really
kinda
good interview.
Yeah. I'll
Highly
have to check it
suggested
out.
to listen to it.
I'll
Yeah,
have to check it
absolutely.
out for sure. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
Mm-hmm. No, I think, for the most part, we covered it for this week. So, I'm good on my end.
Yeah, and I will be back Wednesday as our normal time.
All right, cool.
Cool.
All right. Well,
All right,
of
great.
course. Yeah, well, definitely, Rob, Andy, good to see you guys again. And, definitely feel free to jump on next week or anytime you want. And then, of course, everyone who had the opportunity to watch, of course, we appreciate it. And yes, we did hit over 10,000 views on YouTube now. So congrats to all of you guys for getting us there. And, we appreciate it. Spotify is doing pretty well right now, too. So, of course, if you want to check out our old episodes, join us there. Join us on YouTube, wherever you want. But in the meantime, of course, take care of yourselves and each other. We will see you next week.